Thank you. There's also mention, and I think this is very interesting, of cooperation between the Philippines and Brunei in the halal sector, considering that there's an existing memo of understanding to explore opportunities. And since we know fully well that halal products here in the Philippines are inordinately expensive, sometimes triple or quadruple the price of regular food. So, is there any input on the part of BOI, any interest manifested by some of the Brunei companies? Yung halal, maganda po yun dahil talagang minsan halos sinasamantala na talaga ang ating mga kapatid na Muslim at labis-labis ang presyo ng halal products.
Yeah, so the halal generally, including tourism and the agri sector, we are aggressively promoting this. And in fact, in the past few years, going back, there's already an improvement in our trade, like what DFA mentioned. There's a significant increase in our export versus import. While it is true that there's still a trade imbalance and deficit, kasi import is significantly more than our export. If all the investment promotion agencies, including DTI, will aggressively promote certain industries and sectors, and perhaps we can um, improve on our exports on certain commodities. Thank
Yes,
you.
I'm given to understand that we're already exporting butter, fruit juice, and prepared meat, which presumably are halal certified. We're all fully aware that Brunei certification for halal is actually recognized throughout the world, and the potential for halal products is enormous, even in ASEAN alone, given the size of the populations of Indonesia, Malaysia, and the rest. So, sana mabigyan ng din ng BOI yan, and if you had further data, that would also help push forth this effort to pass the double taxation law. Yung Muslim travel market has been a very wealthy and loyal one over the decades. Bago mag-COVID, nakita natin ang Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore nakinabang ng todo-todo sa Muslim travel market sa mga turista nanggagaling sa Middle East at Africa at iba pang lugar. So, paano ito makakatulong sa Pilipinas na maakit itong mga Arabo, Muslim at iba pang dayuhan pumunta dito sa Pilipinas? Yes, I think there are approximately 145 million Muslim tourists from ASEAN and the Middle East who could potentially come to the Philippines. One of the pitches of the DOF is that this would be expanded here in the Philippines. Tama ba yun? Maengganyo sila pumunta dito pag ma-reduce yung income tax ng mga travel agencies and other operators. Tama po ba yun?
On the DTA, ma'am, what it covers is the income, the personal income, corporate income tax of entities here in the Philippines. So, if we are talking about them establishing companies here then we expect that they will benefit from the DTA.
Yes, presumably it will be more attractive if the double taxation fear can be assuaged, no? So that's another reason why we'd like this to go, no, quickly. Tapos may parating tinatanong, I'm sure expert na si Senator Gatchalian, ang issue sa DOF, is there going to be anything in terms of impact on foregone tax revenues for our country? Parati naman yan ang issue ng DOF, foregone revenue. May foregone revenue bang na-anticipate dito?
On the foregone revenue, ma'am, I will defer to the Bureau of Internal Revenue on the statement.
O sige, BIR na lang daw. Are there any fears that there will be impact on revenue and that a significant amount will be foregone? from the 20,000 plus Filipinos already living in Brunei?
As of this moment, ma'am, we cannot answer the revenue forgone because there are no tax treaty application yet because the Brunei treaty is not yet effective. But in the future, we may gain information on the said revenue forgone.
Ang daya ninyo, ha? Ang DOF at BIR, parating tinatanong sa mga mambabatas, magkano yung foregone revenue? Pag kami nagtanong, hindi kayo sumasagot, ha? Ang daya nyo, ha?
Thank you, ma'am.
Kayo talaga. Okay. Article 23A says that tax payable in Brunei shall be allowed as a credit on any tax payable in the Philippines. Meanwhile, 23B indicates that Philippine tax paid under the laws of our country shall be allowed reversely as credit against any Brunei tax. Tama ba yon? Yun ang pagkaintindi ko. Ayan, tumatango yung BIR. So sana tama naman. Does this mean that under the treaty, it's not necessary to actually pay the Brunei taxes first before we can ask for tax credits in the Philippines? The fear is that this is prone to tax fraud, right? Because in the first place, we are not certain that the tax was paid in the other country. How do we ascertain that there was in fact tax paid in Brunei, for example? Hence, they are exempt from taxes here in the Philippines. How do we safeguard the evasion of tax entirely?
Okay po, ma'am. Under the treaty, which is actually in accordance with the tax code, the Philippine or the BIR can grant a tax credit for foreign income taxes paid in the other country. For example, if you are deriving income, if you are a Filipino or a Philippine corporation deriving income in Brunei, and if it so happens that you are taxed in that with respect to that income in Brunei, then you can claim as a tax credit the taxes withheld in Brunei. So, and it's also the other way around. If
Pero iniintindi ko lang yung sequence. Kailangan ba magbayad muna ng Brunei taxes para ipakita sa Pilipinas, o bayad na ako sa Brunei? Or hindi na kailangan magbayad muna sa Brunei, magsasabi ka lang?
usually
Kasi hindi klaro sa batas eh.
usually under the treaty or under the tax code, we often require a certificate of withholding tax
From the other tax
from the other
authority.
tax authority
Oo,
before we can give a tax credit.
tama.
And it must be an income tax that is
Okay.
levied.
So, but the term utilized in the treaty is tax payable. They're not using the term tax already paid or certified as paid or verified by the other taxing authority. Ang sabi lang, tax payable. Kaya medyo kinakabahan ako sa 23A.
But in the case of the Philippines, and if we always align the interpretation of the article on elimination of double taxation with the provisions under the tax code, that is on the allowance as tax credit. So so the process is when you're applying for a tax credit, you always present the certificate of withholding tax.
Di ba dapat paltan to sa tax paid? Para maliwanag. Kasi it opens us up to fraud eh. And complete evasion, di ba? Kasi malay naman natin kung talagang bayad dun sa kabila. Ang nasa batas kasi, tax payable. Dapat sana tax already paid, di ba? Para maliwanag. It's not a trick question, It's simple lang, simple understanding of tax payable. It's not necessarily paid yet, di ba? Andyan oh. Oo. Here, that's right. It's Article 23, 1A. In the case of the Republic of the Philippines, subject to the laws of the Philippines, is what you're saying, subject to the laws of the Philippines. The credit of taxes paid outside the Republic of the Philippines, tax payable in Brunei, Dar es Salaam, in respect to income or profits, etc. So the term is, it need not be paid first kasi tax payable. Yun lang ang worry ko. Nakita po ninyo? Article 23, 1A.
Mechanism of ordinary credit, either this derived
Under the laws of the Philippines, line 4. And in accordance with this agreement, ayun, tax paid siya. Ba't ganun? So it's not necessary to pay the Brunei taxes first, but it's necessary to pay the Philippine taxes first. But hindi pantay.
23B. Ma'am, yung 23B po, that pertains to how the Philippines
Yun na nga, Mr. Olivan, bakit ganun? Mas stricto sila sa Brunei, pero tayo dito sa Pilipinas, pwede tayong lusutan.
hindi naman po yung lulu.
Hindi, kasi sila, magre-require sila ng certification na bayad dito sa Pilipinas. Tayo, basta sabihin na bayad na dun sa Brunei, hindi naman natin alam kung totoo o hindi. Okay lang, tatanggapin natin na sa tax credit. Ba't ganun? Kakalkal pa tayo ng batas, magbabago pa tayo ng guidelines. Ba't tayo nagpapahirap ng sarili? Yun lang tanong ko. Dapat pantay, dapat patas.
Sige po.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes po.
Normally po kasi when you compute for the income tax due, you will deduct naman po yung foreign taxes paid, and it can be deducted either as income tax payable mo or as expenses. And for that po,